On a freezing winter night, in a wealthy suburb blanketed by snowbanks and silent driveways, a 17-year-old named Malik stumbled upon a sight that would alter the course of his life. A car sat running with its door ajar, headlights piercing the white darkness, pearls scattered across the ground like tiny fallen moons. A disabled woman lay unconscious next to it, her breathing shallow, her skin turning pale blue from the cold. Malik crouched beside her, his worn jacket shielding her face from the falling snow. He had no idea who she was or why she was alone, but instinct told him someone had left her there to die. Moments later, a man appeared in the glow of the headlights, staring at Malik with unsettling calm before saying the words that froze him to his core. "You shouldn't have touched her." Malik turned to respond, but the man had already stepped back into the dark, leaving nothing but a warning and the sense that danger had just multiplied. Malik dialed 911 from the woman's car phone, refusing to leave her, even though the sirens in the distance meant questions he didn't want to face. He didn't trust authority, didn't expect fairness, and knew that being young, black, and homeless made him a suspect before he spoke. But he stayed anyway, because letting someone die felt worse than whatever might happen to him. While waiting for help to arrive, the woman regained the briefest flicker of consciousness, whispering a name through trembling lips. "Adrian, don't let him take it." Malik could barely process her words before she slipped back into unconsciousness, leaving behind a mystery with no explanation. The snow kept falling, the sirens kept getting closer, and Malik had no idea that the moment he chose to stop and save a stranger, someone else had already begun building a story that would make him look guilty. Malik's history didn't prepare him for this. Since losing his mother a year earlier, he'd been drifting through cheap shelters and abandoned buildings, working odd jobs for cash, and avoiding the foster system at all costs. His mom had been gentle, hardworking, and exhausted, and her death had left him with both grief and anger, because people like her never got second chances. Yet Malik had always helped others when he could, offering food, blankets, or comfort, even when he didn't have enough for himself. He believed in showing up for people the way no one had shown up for him. What Malik didn't know that night was that his mother's past and the unconscious woman's life were quietly connected, tied together by choices made long before either of them understood the cost. At the hospital, Malik waited anxiously for news, while nurses eyed him with suspicion and security began circling with questions. He learned the woman's name, Evelyn Ward, a wealthy businesswoman with a complicated reputation and a family with influence stretching into every corridor of that institution. Lawyers arrived before doctors had finished evaluation, demanding names, details, and explanations before any medical decisions were made. It didn't feel like concern. It felt like control. Evelyn's daughter Charlotte, dressed in expensive clothes and a colder expression, found Malik before anyone else did. She offered him cash to disappear, to say nothing to police, to forget what he saw. Malik didn't want her money. He wanted to know if Evelyn would survive. Charlotte refused to answer. To her, Evelyn was a complication. Malik was a liability. When police finally interviewed him, every question focused on what Malik was doing in that neighborhood, how he found her, why he touched her, and whether he pushed her. They weren't interested in who attacked her, or why her car was running, or who the man in the snow had been. They focused on Malik because it was easier. But evidence soon revealed what Malik already knew. Evelyn had not fallen. She had been hurt. Bruises, patterns, signs of struggle, everything pointed to someone else being responsible. So if Malik didn't hurt her, who did? And why make it look like he did? Malik was approached by a private investigator, a quiet man who claimed to be working for someone who wanted the truth, but didn't fully trust the system to deliver it. The investigator revealed disturbing details. The car had been running long before Malik arrived. Whoever attacked Evelyn had waited for someone, possibly watching from the shadows. The investigator believed Malik might have unknowingly witnessed something important. Malik wasn't interested in conspiracies, only answers. But the more he learned, the more it became clear that Evelyn hadn't just been in danger, she'd been targeted. Pieces of Malik's past suddenly gained frightening clarity. His mother, once a cleaner for wealthy families, had worked in Evelyn's home until a theft accusation ruined her job and reputation. Malik remembered the shame in her eyes, the unfairness she could never explain. The investigator suggested a different version. She hadn't been fired because she stole something. She had been punished for seeing something she wasn't supposed to. Malik blamed rich people for destroying his life, and yet, on the night he saved Evelyn, he became the very person who kept one of them alive. When Evelyn finally woke, her first words weren't for her family or lawyers. She asked for Malik. She recognized him, remembered his mother, and admitted that the theft accusation had been a lie, a cover-up to silence a threat against her. Evelyn had attempted to rectify the past by changing her will, leaving her fortune to a charity for disabled youth, something that would benefit children like Malik. But someone close to her had learned of her plans and acted to stop them, believing her death would keep everything hidden. What Evelyn didn't know until later was that Malik had unknowingly taken a USB drive that held her recorded confession, evidence that named names, outlined crimes, and documented the truth she intended to expose. Malik didn't know he possessed it, but someone else did. Threats followed. Malik was attacked and barely escaped with his life. Police dismissed it as random violence, just another invisible struggle in a city full of desperate people. Malik broke down in private, exhausted, whispering, "I just wanted to help her," because he hadn't asked for any of this, hadn't wanted to be hunted, feared, or blamed. But the choice he made in the snow had set off a chain of events that couldn't be reversed. Someone powerful wanted him silent, someone else wanted him protected, and Evelyn, too weak to fight physically, could still use her voice. In a tense legal hearing, Evelyn exposed her family, revealing the lengths they would go to maintain wealth and reputation. She apologized to Malik for what had happened to his mother, and admitted she had waited too long to make things right. She named him the beneficiary of her new foundation, offering a path out of homelessness and toward a life his mother would have wanted for him. But justice proved flawed. Evelyn's family walked free, untouched by consequences due to legal technicalities and influence. Malik learned that truth doesn't always win in courtrooms, and survival doesn't guarantee fairness. Yet something fundamental shifted inside him. He was no longer invisible, no longer voiceless. As Malik stepped into a new life, he carried both grief and gratitude. The memory of his mother, the guilt of survival, the knowledge that helping someone can cost everything, and the belief that it can still be worth it. His journey raises uncomfortable questions. How many of us would stop in the snow for a stranger? How many would risk becoming a suspect, or worse, a target? How many would choose compassion when consequences loom? Do you think Malik did the right thing, or should he have walked away to save himself? If this story moved you, tap that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories every week.